Okay, we're going to be moving on to a brand new topic today, but just before I start, I just wanted to explain those assignments that I'd set up on Teams, where it was the 3 tests that we'd taken throughout the year. So we took 2 tests in the first Michaelmas term, called Michaelmas 1 and Michaelmas 2, and then in the Lent term, we took the 1 test called Lent 1. So what I've just said in some of your reports where I'm reflecting on your grades over the year before lockdown is that you might want to, and I've made it very clear you might want to, it's totally voluntary, it's completely up to you. You might want to have a go and sort of redo some of those tests just as a sort of revision exercise, just to sort of consolidate your knowledge and just sort of boost your confidence a bit. So just to repeat, I've made it really clear that it's not a requirement. Nobody has to, but I just gone and set all 3 of those up as assignments so that if you do choose to have another go at one of those, you can upload it onto Teams and then I can mark it for you remotely and I can feed back to you how you got on. So you mustn't feel there's any obligation to do those, but suddenly those all cropped up on Teams yesterday, and that was because I was something I wanted to incorporate into your reports that I've just started to write. That that option is there if you wanted to do some sort of revision, because I'm conscious of the fact if we were at school we would be revising for end of year tests about now. So I thought if you were wanting to do some sort of revision of what we've done earlier in the year, that would be a good way of doing it, just to sort of work your way through those. But as I said, only if you want to. Right, anyway, we're moving on to a new topic today, inequalities. And this will lead on to you doing Hegarty 265. Now, I know quite a few of you, and it's absolutely fine, like to get your work done earlier in the day. So a number of you were sort of doing this morning. Now that's absolutely fine if you're getting 100%, because clearly you've got a full understanding. But I think if anybody chooses to take it before the live lesson and doesn't get 100%, that's fine. But I'd like you to go back and have another go during the live lesson. Okay, right. Okay, so I just want to remind you, I'm just going to take that off. I just want to remind you how these inequalities work. Okay, now with this slide here, if we were assuming that the values for x had to be integers, which means whole numbers, what would our list of numbers be? Now this here means x is greater than 2. So obviously our answers would be 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on forever. Now with the second one, this means x is less than or equal to 2. Okay, or equal to 2. So that's going to be including 2, but then values which are less than 2. So that's going to be 2, 1, 0, minus 1, minus 2, and so on forever. Okay, so that third one there, that means that x is greater than or equal to 2. So it includes the 2. So that would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. And then the final one at the bottom, x is less than 2. So that does not include 2. That is whole numbers being less than 2. So that would be 1, 0, minus 1, minus 2, and so on. Okay, so that's just reminding you of the basics, how the signs work. Now with this particular Hegarty exercise, we are having to use number lines. Okay, so we've got to represent x being greater than minus 2. So it doesn't have to be whole numbers, it could be any numbers, it could be decimals and what have you. But this is x being greater than minus 2. Now when it's just greater than and not equals to, you've got to go and do an open circle on the minus 2, and you want all the values that are greater than that forever. So you just draw an arrow like that. Okay, now let's just skip the second one. Let's go on to the third one. So that one was x is greater than minus 2. if we've got this third one, where it's x is greater than or equal to -2, so if you've got the or equals bit, it's no longer an open circle, you fill in the circle. So when you actually want to include the actual -2 itself, that's when you go and fill in the circle. Okay, so if you've got the equal sign as part of it, it's a filled in circle. Now we want all the values that are greater than or equal to -2, so it's all the values going in that direction. Okay, so back to the second one. This is x being less than or equal to -2. So that's when we fill it in on -2, but we want all the values going that direction now. And then finally, x is less than -2, but not including -2. That is the open circle, and then all the values going that direction. Okay, now that's all well and good when you just want all the ones that are bigger or all the ones that are less. What about when we want to capture an area? Now you've got to appreciate how this works here. We're reading it from the middle. So looking at that bit there, that's pretty straightforward. That means that x has got to be less than 1. That's how we would normally read it. But you've got to read it right to left in the middle. That bit there means that x is greater than -5. Okay, not less than, greater. You're reading it right to left. So we want all the values where x is greater than -5. So that's going to be an open circle because it doesn't include equals to -5, but less than 1. Less than 1. So we're going to go and put the other one on 1. So it is all those values between there. So that number line represents all the values for x which are greater than -5 but less than +1. Now compare that to the second one. This has got to be x is greater than or equal to -5. So that has the filled in dot. But less than 1. So that is not filled in dot. So just make sure you understand the difference between answer 1 and answer 2. Because we've got that equal sign there, that is filled in. Right, the third one there, we've got x is greater than -5. So that's going to be an open circle, but less than or equal to 1. So that's going to be a closed circle. And then finally, this is greater than or equal to -5, so a closed circle, but less than or equal to 1, so another closed circle. Okay, and that's it, folks. I just had a couple of other blank slides there, just in case I needed them, which I don't. So please, can you go and have an attempt at Hegarty 265. Just to repeat what I said earlier on, I think one or two of you have already got 100%, so obviously your work is done. Just make sure you've got some nice neat notes that you can look back at for proper revision sometime. If you've already had a go and you've got 75%, that's a good start. But now that I've explained it all to you, I would like you to go back and try and improve that mark, please. Okay, that's it, guys. Bye.